Okay, Jonathan, will you introduce yourself?
My name is Jonathan Wu. I currently live in Novato, California. It's in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. How much of an introduction would you like?
Okay, let's start with some of your background.
So, I worked for 4 years at Yahoo Search Marketing. So I did everything from editing, text advertisements, and then moved up into project management and then into data analysis. So I did that from 2005 to 2009. And I left the company to go work for Lunny Ranch and Drake's Bay Oyster Farm. So they're out in Point Reyes Station. So I went to go help them um, and learn how to take care of cattle. So we did some rotational grazing, and they have an organic grass-fed beef cattle herd. So, so I've done a little bit of work on the livestock side. And then last year I went to UC Santa Cruz. There's an apprenticeship program in ecological horticulture, and they teach organic sustainable practices for growing vegetables, flowers, and fruit production. And then currently I'm taking a bunch of community college classes trying to beef up on my mechanical skills. I'm taking an automotive engines class, a second welding class, metal fabrication class, and electronic systems class. So I don't have that much. I don't have much background in fabrication or in mechanical engineering. Oh, in college I studied English literature, and in high school I did a lot of math, and I've also dabbled in sculpture. So I've read on the website, you know, they talk about a integrated person or generalist, and that's definitely something that I tend to do is try to learn as much as possible in a variety of fields.
So you have the capacity to learn many different things pretty quickly, and you're interested in a lot of different things. And
Yeah, yeah. I think I have a really good grasp of the big picture, but also being able to kind of appreciate the details. I think I'm good at learning quickly and also being able to pass on that knowledge and being kind of conscious enough of the learning process to be able to teach it. Um, I've been around. There are a lot of people who are really good at what they do, but it's sometimes it's almost second nature to, or it is second nature to them, and so it's difficult for them to describe or to teach other people um, because it's just so natural to them. But I feel like I have a good kind of consciousness of of those little details that a lot of times make the difference.
okay, great. Um, so there's many different roles that we're looking for people to fulfill. Um, will you talk a little bit more about your interest and availability, and what role would you like to play in OSE?
Yeah. So I right now I'm not working. I'm looking for the right type of work. So I am available. I would not. I want to settle here in California, so I wouldn't be able to move per se. Um, my role, I'd be interested in kind of project management, um, and also in the fabrication piece. But I mean, I'm not because I don't have experience. I'm interested in building my own power cube and tractor and things like that. But my experience is very limited. But it might be useful to have somebody who um, wants to wants to build these things, and so the instruction to kind of review the instructions and run through the instructions to say, to find the points where a novice like myself would run into trouble and make those instructions as clear as possible. I do feel I'm a strong project manager. I haven't, I know y'all are starting to adopt the kind of agile, scrum, lean methodologies, and I do not have experience in that. But otherwise, I'm a very strong project manager, good at kind of keeping tabs on everything that's happening and making sure everything is, all cylinders are firing. So in my role at Yahoo, I was also a workflow kind of distribution coordinator for 80 employees. So we had a bunch of ads coming in, and we had to review them and get them out as quickly as possible. So I feel like I'm good at kind of making sure everybody's comfortable and making sure folks on the team are doing the things that they're kind of most effective at doing, and also making sure that all those things are kind of happening in a way that's coordinated. So those, does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. I'm trying to get a feel for your ability to. Can you speak more about your ability to teach yourself not only like what you need to do, but also identify the priorities for a project without a lot of overall direction? Because open source ecology is at a place where we've got a finite number of people doing a pretty immense amount of work. And it'd be great to have somebody who can come in and be a self-starter, who can identify priorities and then focus on getting a goal done that's relevant to the overall big picture. And then also, as a project manager, we'd need somebody who can manage other people, keep them on task, and recruit and involve lots of volunteer work to coordinate a team for a specific outcome. So do you feel like you have the ability to focus and endure and make sure that you can be a self-starter and get a project and see it through to completion?
Yeah, I'm totally a self-starter, and I'm kind of a sponge in terms of I'm always looking at, like, I looked over your wiki and I've been reading through the wiki. It's pretty extensive, but to just kind of start learning the processes, and then I feel like I'm good at seeing what the next steps are, very kind of action item oriented, and I mean at this point I think that the most challenging thing for me will be probably the learning curve and getting up to speed on a lot of the technical information and just the general process of metal fabrication or of machine fabrication. But I'm good in terms of process. I'm a very kind of logical thinker and good at logistics and coordinating folks. I tend to get along with everyone, and yeah, I've got the broad skills, I feel like, but as I feel like, so as someone, I grew up in suburban Atlanta and not exposed to a lot of this hands-on type of thing, so I'm still learning that piece.
Okay, can you talk some about project management and how you go about it? So what are the main aspects of good project management, in your opinion?
I think knowing what your end goal is and really the specifications and the design is key, and also being flexible as things come up. But I think it's all about the planning and the setup, I think, and of the different folks knowing their part in the whole project. And also, I think the team. So probably those two things: the kind of definition of the project and the folks that you're working for, are probably working with, are probably the most important. I mean, in terms of project management, just breaking down everything, having a really structured and really clear roadmap, and having a good system of dealing with roadblocks that come up, and also of having milestones and having realistic time expectations. mean, through the years, I've managed some events here and there, you know, kind of informally, and so I see that similarly, you know, needing needing a good schedule and you know, at this time to do this and that. That's my general approach.
Okay. I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
One of the things we look for in people is skin in the game.
Yeah.
The value of our mission requires that we ask people to get involved and put some skin in the game and do some volunteer work for a while. Although there are long-term incentives in terms of you can get some payback, but without getting into the details of what that is, are you interested in putting some skin in the game and volunteering for a while in order to build rapport and create your own position over time, and then some of the other benefits, material benefits that might come back to you will become more clear over time? But in the meantime, are you interested in putting some volunteer work in up front?
I am to some extent. Probably, I would say 3 to 6 months worth before something clearer, at least, you know, comes into play. Something clear can be kind of articulated. I don't have work right now, so, and I am looking at a couple other places, but it just depends on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to see how I work with everybody else and the rapport and things like that. And I do have savings, and I live pretty cheaply, and I'm actually caretaking my parents' house, so I have low costs out here, and so I'm willing to put in some volunteer time, but ultimately, yeah, we can't all put in volunteer time all the time, so I guess the answer is yes, but I would like some clarification or timelines around those types of expectations of compensation and things like that.
Okay. Let me check my little thing here. Okay, so what's your willingness to come to Factory Farm? I know you've mentioned you want to settle in California. Factory Farm's in Missouri. Would you be able to come out for 3 months in the summer, or do you have any availability to come out at all to do a visit and be involved in the culture there, or are you pretty much stationary for now, or?
No, I'd be willing to come out. Probably not for 3 months, at least not at this point. Maybe for a month or a month and a half. I've got some family coming in, and I have some things that I have to take care of here. And that's at least in the summer. So yeah, I totally be willing to do that.
Okay.
And then later on, maybe visits every so often I'd be open to, but yeah, I want to settle down here, and that's a commitment that I've kind of made.
Okay, if you could look at open source ecology as a whole, to your understanding at this point, what do you feel like our priorities should be as an organization right now in order to fulfill our mission? What are our priorities?
I would say building out a team. I would say kind of organization and also recruiting folks to work on projects. I mean, there are a lot of projects that still, out of the 50 machines, 5 of them have been have finished prototyping to some extent, or in some type of maturity in terms of prototype. I think just pulling people together and being able to manage those people so that they feel like they're contributing, and that progress is being made, because I think you can have a lot of people willing to help out, but if you don't employ them in a way that they feel utilized, or that you know has some material or accomplishment, then those volunteers or those people involved are just going to kind of fall away. So, and I think in the long term, I think from reading the wiki, you guys have your eyes set on it too. Is just funding so that folks aren't doing this, entirely. But just so that there can be some compensation there and a longer term kind of plan of full time employees. So.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Extreme Manufacturing platform that we're developing? The collaboration page, and have you seen that stuff?
Yeah. To some extent, I was just looking at it. So it's working with Joe Justice and the WikiSpeed folks.
Which page are you looking at? The car? There's different ones
for
different
there are a bunch
teams.
So which page are you referring
to? Each team will use pretty much the same template for collaboration. So I have some questions based on your understanding of that, but if it's too new, then we'll just skip some of those.
I've seen some of the kind of task list pages.
Yeah.
So that you've got all the kind of categories, and then you've got all the little squares that have the tasks, and you have unassigned tasks, and you have folks that are it's broken up into 3 sections, which is like not started, in progress, and finished. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and it's got like the map on it and the video stream and all that.
I don't think I saw the map in the video stream.
So. Okay, yeah, just that sounds like you haven't necessarily seen the collaboration page then. So Martin's going to want to follow up with you on another interview.
Okay.
You can actually link to those pages right off the front page of the wiki under the teams.
Okay, I'm looking at it now under the teams. The active teams, so the factory farm team.
Yeah, exactly. Any of those, they'll all use the same template.
Okay.
So I have some follow-up questions about your perspective on this platform and the format, but I think Martin's going to have to follow up with you, and so in the meantime, study those pages, get a feel for how they work, try and understand the intention, and then if you have any feedback on how we can make improvements and refine that, he's going to probably ask you about that.
Okay.
Because the intention behind those pages is to have the teams coordinate all their activity through that, track their progress, and also incorporate volunteers to come in and make it pretty transparent for them on how they can plug in and become a part of the team.
Yeah.
It's a project management platform, so take a look at that. I've pretty much covered all the questions I want to ask you at this point. It's been great talking to you. I appreciate your time and interest. So I'm going to publish this on the wiki, and then Martin will take a look at it. We'll get back to you. Okay. Do you have any other questions for me before we head out, or?
I think I'm pretty good. I'll continue to look at the wiki and read up on that stuff. There's a lot of information there. So.
Yeah, totally. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate your time, man. It's great to talk to you.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good day.